Episode 3.
That's it. That's what we're here for.
To go today, we have
Colin Kimball.
Colin Kimball.
Colin
We don't
Kimball.
talk about Colin Kimball.
Let's just say you cannot record on Vocaroo.
Yeah.
It's not a
So
8th grade
today
Spanish
we
project.
have Griffin O'Keefe, the specialist at Life.
Hello. I'm very happy to be here. I'm very sorry about the editing fiasco of Colin Kimball.
Griffin-
The Lost Pod crew will do better, and we'll move on from this.
Some people consider Griffin a very good life coach. Also, he's just packed with knowledge, and we're so grateful to have him as our editor.
Thank you.
And as our
He's a great
friend.
editor.
So Griffin, we obviously are all going to college, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So I just because this is where it came from. This is where the podcast started. What do you plan on doing when you go into college?
Yeah. So this fall, I'll be attending Bentley University. I plan to major on accounting, and I'll probably try to minor in something like actuarial sciences or maybe finance, something like that, to maybe have a fallback option. That's something I would like in the business field. So
That's awesome.
Indubitably.
Sounds
indubitably,
exciting.
that's right.
I like Bentley when I toured it. It's a cool school, man.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to it. It was my top school, so hopefully it ends up being what I applied for, and I hope I just get the best degree I can and have fun there. So
You excited to be near the city?
what's that?
You excited to be near the city?
Oh yeah, Boston's so much fun. I'll be able to go to all like the Boston sports games for cheap, like the Red Sox, the Celtics, of course.
The Celtics. Oh, soon.
It's too soon.
Anyways, so Griffin, a few questions.
Yeah.
You guys have any questions planned?
All you.
All right. So my first question for you, Griffin, is so the gym. I know you're a big gym guy, right?
Correct.
I got into the gym a little bit before quarantine, and
Okay.
I really lost interest in it, and I just wonder how you stay so interested in it. And I've seen great improvements throughout the years, so
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how you stuck with it and what makes you motivated to go every day.
That's a pretty good question. I'm going to be honest, there have been times where I haven't been as motivated to go. Obviously, sometimes you you kind of feel stuck in place.
Yeah.
But at the start, I'd say it's really easy. You see like the newbie gains is what
Yeah.
they call it, where you're just progressing really fast, because you're eating a lot and your body's like responding really well to like the new workouts. You get that great feeling of like, oh, I'm sore, but I was being productive, and it almost starts to become addictive. I'm at the point now in the gym where I felt as if that I needed kind of like a new goal, because I had been like just bulking for a long time, and it was really starting to like get repetitive, and I started to see less progress just because I think it was a combination of I wasn't changing my diet as much, so my body eventually hit this point where it like stopped progressing in weight as much, and every workout felt the same, everything kind of just stayed the same, and I was like honestly contemplating just like stopping for a while, because I was like, I'm just not really enjoying this anymore. But I recently started cutting, so I've lost around 10 pounds, which
Great.
it kind of sucks because I haven't been eating, but
I've noticed that. It does.
I like the results I'm seeing so far, and it's kind of giving me like a new boost of energy to keep going. So I'd say the motivation really comes from just feeling productive at the end of the day.
And I do want to add, Griffin, now that you're cutting, working out with you the few times I have, very few times, but
Yeah.
the reps that you're putting in, the amount of reps you're doing every single set, it's a lot different than how I've always worked out. And that new light, just working out with you the few times, it's definitely made me feel a lot better after, even like more sore, and just like the recovery just feels a lot better.
Yeah.
So that change up is just such an important thing, and you don't really notice when you're starting to kind of plateau in the gym, and you're kind of just doing the same thing over and over again.
Exactly.
But that change is definitely important, and that's just something I noticed working out with you a few times.
Yeah, for sure. It's really easy to fall into like a repetitive cycle of just going in, trying to move as much weight as you can every time. So like being able to like, well, maybe not when I'm working out with Jackie, but like, you know, you go in, you try and like do the same thing, move as much weight as you can, and eventually you don't see the progress as much, and you almost start to like see yourself slipping. Like sometimes you like have a week where you're, like you just don't lift the same amount of weight because you like go to the gym so much, and sometimes your muscle is just fatigued. So switching up that like training plan is really like refreshing and like good for the body, I'd say, to like, I don't know, put on like, let's say I'm doing more reps, you know, it's like new, it's fresh, and it like keeps me motivated to keep going rather than just going in every time and just doing the same thing and not being happy with it, if that makes any sense.
And talking about diet,
Mm-hmm.
like definitely newbies in the gym and just people that are kind of outsiders to just health life, I guess. They don't really realize how important diet is, not only to improve gains in the gym or just muscle growth in the gym, but just outside, like focus in school, outside just doing other things, motivation for anything really. You have to be able to eat the right amount of food and the right kind of food. If you're going to Burger King every night, I had a friend that would do that, Xander and Colin, but Xander, going to
Colin.
Burger King every night, you just start to kind of feel. I don't want to say like, you start to feel kind of just negative emotions, and like you don't.
No, yeah, I've
understand
noticed
why,
that the eating patterns that I had when I was bulking were so much worse.
Yeah.
It caused so much more skin breakout for me, and like all that greasy food, it's honestly just horrible for you,
It
which
is,
I
yeah.
like realized.
And then
Yeah.
you get
And you just don't feel like happy, in my opinion, like compared to when you're like eating healthy. So it's a bad cycle to be in. I just feel nice and refreshed, like eating like healthier. Like broccoli is my favorite food right now.
oh,
Not afraid to admit it.
that's good.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I like broccoli.
Yeah, I feel
Gotta
like
get
when
on
I
that
started,
broccoli plan.
when I started lifting, yeah, I didn't really
Fiber
work
only.
on my diet, and like now I realize like Griffin, like during his cut, like he does not eat a lot of food, and the food that
Nothing.
he eats is like wicked specific, or else like
Yeah.
it messes everything up. So it's
Have
just
you-
interesting.
Sorry, I didn't want to cut Cooper off there, but have you been cooking a lot now that you're on a cut? Just like cooking, not cooking a lot, but just like making your own food, I guess.
Yeah, I've been switching to more of my own cooking. My mom usually cooks a lot because she's like a private chef. But switching to my own cooking, I can manage kind of like what goes into it more. Like, for example, if I were to make myself Brussels sprouts, my mom would probably like grease the pan with a lot of oil, which is just a lot of calories I don't need. So like I can just manage things like that a lot better and make it easier for myself. So cooking by myself is a lot easier sometimes.
Would you say this has been harder than bulking, cutting?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, the reason
Probably makes
I don't know if it's like this for everyone. I would say it's probably like this for most people though. Is so I started pretty skinny, and I've never really had a problem with just eating as much as I want. Especially like when I was running back in the day, I was burning so many calories from running that I needed to just eat as much as I can to even like feel okay because of all the calories I burnt. So bulking was just always easy. I could just eat whenever I'm bored, and like my stomach like didn't fill up that much. So like when I go to school now, it's just I don't need anything.
So-
Like I have gum. I'll usually have like a small thing in the morning that's like pretty healthy, like I don't know, like an apple or banana before I leave. But like during the school day, it's just I mean, I get out early, so like I come back home for lunch, but it's just like tough to manage my eating schedule to where I know I'm not getting too many calories to achieve my goals.
Going into college, keeping up with this like fitness schedule along with just being a good student, how do you think you're gonna maintain that? Because that's one thing that I haven't really thought about that deeply until
Yeah.
kind of recently, where like I have more free time now, so I'm going to the gym and I'm doing stuff to take care of myself. But as soon as I get absolutely like ruined with a bunch of schoolwork and stuff, I'm just I don't know how I'm gonna maintain that.
Yeah, I actually think college is gonna be easier for me to bulk. I think
Alpha.
that's right. I think there's just gonna be more time for hobbies,
Well said.
and so like you won't have class every day. Like you'll have a lot of schoolwork, but like when I really put my mind to it, I get my schoolwork done like quickly if like I'm actually trying.
Yeah.
So I'll just get it all out of the way. Gym can come whenever, either early or later. It doesn't really matter for me. I just think having like the right meal plan in college can really make a difference. And like I think it's going to be a lot easier to bulk, honestly, cuz like you can bring a lot of stuff into your dorm for you to like get your protein and like nutritional needs, if that makes sense. And then you get like 3 meals a day that could be like high in calorie. Like you can just load your plate. So honestly, I feel as if it might be a little easier than I'm realizing, which is a good thing for bulking.
Cutting.
And then if the food sucks, it'll be easy for cutting.
True.
So it's a win-win.
Is it good there?
Apparently the food is not good there. So
Oh.
We don't know that yet.
yeah, we don't know that.
don't
It's
know
getting
that.
better.
Hey,
I
food,
guess during COVID
it's
they were
subjective.
very, very understaffed
Food is
at
food.
Bentley, so the food took a hit. But they're on the recovery.
You know, food
They
doesn't
can
matter
only go-
anyway. Doesn't matter anyway.
They can only go up from there, right? It can't get any worse.
Yeah, they have like their actual like dining hall is like not good, but they have like other places you can use your meal swipes at.
Yeah.
That's
Like they have this thing attached to the gym. It's called Curito. So like it's almost like a Chipotle right attached to the gym, which is kind of convenient.
good.
They have a Dunkin' Donuts there. They have like a bagel place there. There's
That's awesome.
a lot of like a pub. There's a lot of things you can use your meal swipes on. So I got a lot of options.
All right, we're back here on the podcast. I have another question for Griffin. Who is your favorite artist, and why are they your favorite artist? And you can give us.
And I'd have to say Kendrick Lamar.
Oh,
What?
no way. I was going to say the same thing if you asked me.
Yeah. No, he's personally my favorite rapper. And I wouldn't say it's that close either.
And why
And
is
I
your
feel like
favorite?
he represents a lot about how you've grown up.
What?
No, I'm right. I feel like
I battled through racism in America.
Like he's joking. That's what they comped him.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, big album drop tonight. So
There is, yes. I'm
Do you have any-
looking forward to it quite a bit.
yeah, you hear? Do you think there's gonna be any surprise like features or anything? Like,
Features?
yeah, you,
I don't know, you'll probably see some good features. I don't really know, like...
You definitely see Baby Keem. I know he'll be on. one
Oh,
of those
yeah.
songs.
His
100%.
cousin. I mean, come on now. That's an easy one. He'll probably be on there.
baby.
But
I actually saw this this video. It was Kendrick Lamar. I don't know like the actual like the verbiage they used, but they said Kendrick Lamar wrote all Baby Keem, like a lot of Baby Keem songs.
yeah.
And like ghostwrite wrote for a lot. And this is it was the same kind of thing that happened with Drake with this other guy wrote a lot of his songs, but it's like just speculation.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of insane to think about because Kendrick Lamar is like a known advocate against ghostwriting and hates ghostwriting, and Baby Keem says that he writes all his stuff, and it's just funny to see.
Yeah.
And the J Rock verse in Money Trees, that's also
Ghostwriting.
Kendrick might have written it just because there's an audio leak of him singing it, like before. it
I could
released
see
a
why
while
he
ago.
would ghostwrite for Baby Keem though, because
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he
yeah.
knows like they're cousins.
Yeah, they're
he has a lot of
cousins, yeah.
talent, and he kind of wants to get like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
his foot in the door. I guess.
Not an industry.
I just
plant,
find it.
a,
I just
relative.
like what I like about Kendrick the most is how like intricated like his work is. You know what I'm saying? Like even in his most recent single that'll be on the album coming out tonight, The Heart Part 5. Like the cover for that had like 5 different handprints on it, and there were hands of real people. Like one was Kobe Bryant, one was O.J. Simpson. There were like all different people, like actual hands found off the internet, which was really cool. And like a lot of his albums like tell stories that are crazy because they like relate to Kendrick's life so much in like very accurate ways. And it's like he doesn't even have the highest IQ, but
Yeah.
like his IQ is high, but like you'd think like someone that's able to like tie in like so much of his life to his lyrics and like music that he would have like a genius IQ, but like he's just as smart as like some of us are, which is crazy to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that definitely just makes the difference between him and just like other mainstream big artists that have blown
Yeah,
up
like
in the past.
Eminem. I swear he's just like rhyming. Like
Is
he's
he?
I could swaddle.
Is he?
I don't
like, you know what I'm saying? Like some people just like
I don't know because I feel like
rap to like rhyme. In my
even
opinion.
Eminem though he has some aspect of story that's kind of
Yeah, he does.
he was
no, he,
he
does.
was a
Compared to
one of the big proponents of
Maybe Eminem probably wasn't
just
the best
come-
example.
Compared to
like
But-
Logic,
Juice.
like
Yeah,
Logic
that-
or
yeah.
Even
Lil Pump.
even some of J Cole
Yeah,
Lil
even
Pump.
some of like J Cole songs are like they're fake introspective where it's just like a what's supposed to be a really deep issue and it's just kind of like a surface level kind of knowledge on it and
Yeah.
it's just saying what everyone else is saying. There's nothing special about it.
Yeah.
Kendrick
It's
will
very
actually
bland.
dive deep, show you what he
I
thinks
like-
about it and what he believes. So that's just like it's just impressive what he can do with all his music and all his like
Yeah,
it's art what he makes. It's not just
It's
just not
definitely-
just like a song. It's like
that's a good way to put
yeah.
it. Yeah,
What's your favorite album for Kendrick Lamar?
I'd probably say To Pimp a Butterfly, just because the storytelling
Yeah.
on that is probably the best thing of. It's probably the best
Yeah.
album I've
I think
ever
that's
honestly.
listened
favorite
to.
album also, like, of all time.
I think Dean said he likes Good Kid, Mad City
Oh,
more.
wait,
I think he said
Ooh.
that too.
Yeah,
it's a hard
they're
one.
good. They're good albums. Good Kid, Mad City follows more of like a story that Kendrick lived through,
Uh-huh.
while To Pimp a Butterfly is kind of talking about like his role in society and how like his like figure and stature in the music world ties into like problems going on with America today, which I just find really interesting as like the poem at the end of each song
Yeah.
like continues to like get longer and longer and each song kind of like relates to that poem more. So
But I feel like the great thing about Kendrick, you can play one of his like Damn, which was made for the radio, made to blow up, and generally songs like that or albums like that don't like have the deepest kind of like
like
just
meaning.
or
Yeah.
like the people that support them
Damn-
the most don't like it a lot.
Damn has a great story.
But
Yeah,
you could play Damn, or you could play like
You can play Damn
Section 80,
backwards.
and that was just like
You
a
can play Damn forward and backwards, and it has a different meaning.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Like at the
cool.
start where it's like, is it wickedness or is it weakness? You decide. So like if you listen to it like full length regularly, it will end with like weakness, and like how his father survived in a gunfight, and it led to like him being born, or like weakness is like it rewinds to him like in the first song, it's like him getting shot. So like things like that are just so cool to
Yeah.
me.
That's so creative.
Yeah,
That's so cool
So creative and so different.
It is
very innovative mind.
compared to.
compared to Juice
Compared to
WRLD.
Juice
I'm trying to think some other great lyricists. I mean, I never really knew about him until not knew about him, but listened to any music of his until last year. But Andre 3000, who's one of the
Oh, yeah.
considered one of the greatest rappers of all time, but like people that aren't really that into rap just don't know about him because obviously he was under the name Outkast with
Yeah.
who's the other guy in Outkast? I completely forget.
Um,
Anyway,
it's not gonna come. To
Yeah,
me,
it's
I'll
not
tell you
gonna get-
that.
I can't-
I don't listen to Outkast
yeah.
that much. There's
But-
really just like that one album I listen to.
but like people like
Uh,
those who
art of
can
storytelling.
yeah, people like those who can put like meaning to songs like that. Like
Yeah.
even in the song Kanye released with Andre 3000, it's just a song about his life, but it's sung in a way that it's like entertaining to listen to, but it's sad and it's just like you can just
That's
listen
why.
to it.
Yeah, I think that's why people look up to like Tupac
Yeah.
and like Biggie so much because they were like the first to really like
Tell stories.
within their rap, and they were like very new onto the scene. And then you have these new rappers who don't always do that.
Yeah. Bitch,
But
sit
they like
on my
make it for
face,
more of like
no,
a
I'm
musical
joking.
enjoyment, which is why Kendrick to me is pretty special because he kind of does a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
like his songs can go mainstream because like if you don't care about the story, they still sound really good, but it kind of takes the old school and makes it new school. If that makes
Yeah, yeah.
sense.
And I do not want. I hate using this guy as an example just because I do not like his music at all. But this is the first rapper I ever listened to. Logic when he released his first like his biggest album Under Pressure, that was a legitimately good piece of work that a
Yeah.
lot of people listen to, and if he just left that alone and didn't release anything else, actually, the Incredible True Story is also a really decent album. But if he left those two alone, it's a pretty decent album.
it's okay.
When it came out, it was pretty decent.
Yeah.
And that's what I listened to when I was a kid. But those two albums, other than his new stuff, they were like pretty decent. They told stories, and I guess when he went mainstream, it kind of just fell off. He had one other song that blew up with 1-800, which was not even. It was because it was about something sad.
It served a good message.
It served a
Very
good
good
message,
message.
but
It had a good heart.
The fall off of what he kind of wanted to say was in direct correlation with him just talking about less and less stuff and just more saying stuff for other people to just want to listen to. It
Yeah.
wasn't anything that
He became more for the people,
More for
instead
the
of more
people.
for like the quality of his music, I guess.
And,
which
like-
somehow doesn't even make sense, but
and like I don't have a single song saved by him anymore, like even his old
Yeah.
stuff. But if you go back and listen to it, you can definitely see there's a difference in quality and difference in just like I don't know
Yeah.
passion in his lyrics. So
So this is kind of off topic, but I know that a bunch of us had taken like this personality test recently on like this website. And do you know the name of the website?
16 personalities.
16
Can you
personalities.
explain to me what I was a campaigner? But what were you gonna
I
say?
was as
Sorry,
well.
What were you gonna say?
I was just interested on like how you guys felt about your results. Like,
Yeah,
if you
I-
all, did you all take it?
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I got porn star. No,
Oh.
I'm joking. I didn't do it.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's
What?
personality.
I'm joking.
I mean, I'm not shocked,
I
but
didn't do it, guys. I hate to say it.
it's a cool quiz though.
Yeah, it's
Like it
cool.
tells
do it.
you like certain things about. Oh, I mean, you go through like a lot of questions, and then it eventually like tells you like about traits of who you are based on like the questions, and I don't know. I was just interested on like your guys' results and everything like that,
Yeah.
So I was a campaigner.
which I was too.
But what does that mean?
Let me click on it for you.
On the-
guys. I'm in the same green. So
I
we
was
were
a-
all diplomats.
Yeah.
I was
So campaigner. So you guys are outgoing. I agree with all this
A
stuff.
campaigner is someone with extroverted, intuitive feeling and perspective personality traits. These people tend to. Hey, I mean, this does actually represent both you.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if Cooper was also
No,
one, but
I
this
was not,
represents
but I was close.
it represents you guys very well. I mean, I feel like they're free spirits. It's funny. That's probably the best one you could have got.
It
right?
honestly does a pretty good job
Yeah,
of
it's
describing
interesting.
yourself.
It's a
Even like there's only like 50,
do it.
a little less than 50 questions.
And the
.com.
questions they ask you are like
I'll do it.
are pretty
deep.
I haven't done it.
They're deep. They're not very like
You have to find an answer.
not very
I
broad,
actually
yeah.
watched our friend Thomas take it today, and it was interesting seeing the way he answered compared to
Compared to
me.
some
I kind of want to take
Like
this now.
some of,
Why
yeah,
didn't
like
I
some of
take
the
it?
stuff where like I said I strongly
Damn, I really
agree,
feel like more.
he was like strongly disagreeing, and I was like, whoa. You know, like we're friends and we talk a lot. So I just view us as very similar people, kind of. But when I see him answer like deep personal questions sometimes, it almost like strikes me
I
and like
can-
catches me off guard.
This
as
is
to,
no
like,
diss to either of you, but I cannot see you guys as very similar people.
Well, no,
You
we're
guys
like
are
friends.
similar. You guys
Yeah.
like sports,
No,
but
I'd
like
say we're
personality wise,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I can
You have
see
similar
why there's
interests.
difference. I can
Yeah.
see why there's difference.
No.
But hey, love both you guys. So
Yeah.
I just
Like
feel
we're not that different, you know.
Yeah.
We hang out, we're
yeah,
friends.
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
like, on the
Like people
surface
like,
level,
you know,
like we're
Yeah.
we're boys that have things in common, you know.
I find it
I
very
feel like it does a good job of like asking deep questions, but not like it's not that deep of a test.
You're the
You
hero.
know what I mean?
he's the hero.
Yeah.
Like it's like fun. You
Protagonist.
want to take it. It doesn't
Okay,
like
that's the same thing.
you know what I mean?
yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's just
That's what it's meant to be.
It's like I don't know. I liked it a lot.
How long did it take to take the test?
About like less than 10 minutes.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
looking at
less
it
than
now,
10
though.
minutes.
But I'm do that later. I'm excited
It's
to
fun.
find out.
Yeah.
Talk about it next episode.
What was Jack? Leave in the comments what was Jack McCann on 16 personalities.
Yeah. What would you put Jack McCann as 16 personalities?
My vote is he's a porn
I was
star.
gonna say definitely a porn star.
Yep.
That's Anyway, this is a little bit off topic. This is kind of embarrassing to say, but the past week, just because I spent a lot of time in the car driving to New York, and I spent a good amount of I downloaded HBO Max on my phone, and I've been watching a good amount of TV.
Gotcha.
But specifically, embarrassing show to say that I've been watching. Not embarrassing,
Hey,
but
it's not embarrassing.
I've been watching a lot of Rick and Morty.
That's not bad.
Dude,
It's fine.
No, but the cliche around
Yeah,
behind it, it's just
right.
like I like, you know, oh, you have to have a really good IQ to watch it. Like, what I'm gonna say about it though, it there's a lot of small little points in it where it's like, oh, that's actually a really good point just about general life or general just feeling about certain things.
Yeah.
And well, obviously this isn't the only entertainment that does that, but going and watching like something like Criminal Minds, where I feel like I'm watching something so mindlessly that it's just like,
Yeah.
why am I watching this?
yeah, that show's like two rinse and repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Same concept
And then
every
that-
single
yeah,
episode.
but then it's just like, oh, we saw it. There's a double homicide, and he used his feet to kill them. This is like the thing that happened last week too. I can tell you exactly what he's gonna do next.
Yeah.
It's just like stuff like that makes no sense to me. Why people enjoy or spend so much time watching it. And I'm not saying people should spend time watching Rick and Morty anymore. I feel like the thought of watching entertainment and using a lot of time on it
Yeah.
when there's a lot of other things that could be done. It's such a weird thing to me, even though I'm obviously a culprit of that. I do the same thing, but
So you're saying like
the human
it's kind of crazy how like easy we can be like encapsulated
Yeah.
by like our devices
and I'm pretty
like
sure
entertainment.
I've brought this up before, but it's still something that always, because I use a lot of time doing mindless stuff, mindless things, and I've been trying to get better at that, just because I feel like using my mind is a lot better than not, and sitting and watching something that's blank and doesn't bring up any thought-provoking stuff.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what the podcast is, just thinking, talking to friends, just coming up with ideas and stuff like that. Do you watch a lot of TV? Like,
I would say I actually don't watch that much TV. I watch a lot more like YouTube and like even more mindless and senseless videos.
yeah, exactly.
than Rick and Morty probably.
Or they,
The one thing I will say is though, I don't think I'll ever be able to fully break being like encapsulated
yeah,
by like
Yeah.
our devices and like
I think that's
entertainment.
okay though.
I think that's just part of what society is now. I think having control of yourself over it though is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've been setting aside like reading times. I know it's kind of like
oh no,
No.
nothing bad with that.
I just think it's important to like stimulate the mind, and like sometimes if I don't read, I like try and like, this might sound weird, but like I think of like an album that I like close my eyes and then just try to like engage my mind and listen to it, and like almost close my eyes and just like imagine the story, or like imagine like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I try to engage my mind,
Yeah.
because I feel like when I'm on like those platforms, I'm literally blank. I'm
Yeah.
brain dead.
And
Like actually,
this is a thought that
I feel like a zombie.
this is something that I came up with, or I was thinking of, like a few days ago. It's the introduction of cell phone usage and just like the tablets and people watching stuff is a pretty recent thing. And we obviously haven't seen the full results on development in the brain. Definitely child development. Definitely child development. I'm just so I'm wondering what it will be like if they find out that it was a very negative thing for kids to be.
Oh yeah, no,
like what
very
will
well
happen? But what will be the outcome of that? Because everyone is involved. Everyone's kind of. It's not like a small little
Oh,
section
for
of
sure.
people. It's going to be everyone. That's gonna-
personally, I think TV was almost like when we were kids,
Yeah.
like it was mainly just
when we were
TV
kids.
until like iPads started coming around in like the early
Yeah.
2010s. But I was mainly watching TV. I honestly didn't see a problem with it. I actually think it helped me learn in certain ways and like
Yeah.
spark kind of like a creativity and like helped me become who I am today, like a little bit like sarcastic and funny and things like that. So I think there's definitely
Handsome.
benefits to like watching like shows such as that. However, like playing freaking Temple Run and Angry Birds on your iPad when you're 7 years old, there's no benefit to that at all.
Well, like
My
think about
opinion.
the
And
kid
it's-
shows.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep going.
No, it's like very different if you think about it too, because a game like Angry Birds or like Candy Crush is like diagnosed to almost give you serotonin. So it's very like it's almost programmed for you to keep playing, but there's no like additional benefits.
No.
You just play the game.
Yeah.
But with TV, like every episode is different, and you know it introduces you to some new things.
Yeah.
So I'd
So-
say almost TV. I'd say TV almost helped me like become who I am and like, you know, help develop like my mind, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I was
In, like, a
gonna
good
say.
way.
Like every episode of name a kid show.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Maybe not SpongeBob so much, but like
I love SpongeBob.
other shows, like they all
iCarly.
have sure, like they all have like a lesson. Like there's like the main plot, and they kind of end with like
Like a
everyone
life
wakes
lesson.
up, and it's like it's like every episode kind of has like a different
I was
lesson.
I was gonna say like this isn't even a kids show, but regular show. But that's not even. That is,
Regular shows the form of it's like a
It's
I
like a
don't even
Mr.
know.
Fleming class.
every show.
This should
Yeah.
be your final, Mr. Fleming's class.
I should. Oh my god.
Like, remember when you used to play Cookie Clicker? You guys know that
Oh
game?
I
my
used to
God.
play that game.
All
so
do
You
is
dedicate
tap
your
the screen,
whole-
you just tap
But
the
they got
screen.
us.
No, but
They got me
got
so.
They
but-
got
They
us.
got
But Cooper, this would be a week experience.
Exactly.
You would remember about Cookie Clicker.
Yep.
You'd start
Yeah.
to play it,
Mhm.
and then you'd see how many you could get for the longest
stupid.
time
Lea-
possible.
Liam Constantine and I had sophomore year of high school, so we're 16. We had a little battle.
I was in
a
that
little,
class.
a
I
little-
remember that.
We had a little 1v1,
Yes.
and it was like, I bet you can't get more cookies than me this weekend.
Maybe I'm gonna play
Liam
Cookie
Liam
Clicker
smoked
tomorrow.
me. I was on that game all freaking weekend, and I got smoked. I got blown out of the water because Liam literally went to bed tapping his freaking phone, getting cookies. So the moral of the story is they got us.
They got us good.
And we were brain dead.
The old
We were
shows that weren't, and even shows now have changed so much. Like reality shows are so unrealistic, and like all these shows,
Like the shows that like we kind of watch.
yeah,
whatever.
like Criminal Minds and stuff. All those
Oh,
shows.
okay, okay. Yeah.
Or
Even, like,
the
Outer Banks and stuff like that stuff just never
Oh, I-
happens. Like
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
about these kids who find like some random gold. Like what?
Oh
It
my God.
sounds
I know.
fake.
All
It-
of them.
Yeah.
They all should have to be exaggerated.
Although
though.
I'd say it's almost like a recency bias too,
Yeah.
where we're always gonna like the ones we grew up with more,
yeah.
Yeah.
and like it might actually be getting worse, but at the same time, like
Everyone
we may
probably.
never be able to
I feel
have
like
a good outlook on it, if that
and
makes sense.
shows kind of capitalize on like those kind of extreme kids that might fantasize the shows like Outer Banks where people are like, oh, I'm a pogue now, like I'm gonna live in, and obviously that's
So
not
weird.
not every single person that
Watches
watches
their
it,
background.
but there's dudes on like TikTok and stuff like, oh, I'm gonna live off the land, I'm gonna live in the wild, like I don't need no parents. It's just
That's
like
not how life works.
you can't do that. This is a show, and
Yeah, it's so unrealistic.
we have our own kind of structure of what you can do and what you're supposed to do, and
Yeah.
you can't really
I
follow.
feel
what
like
they
there's
want.
always been things like that, though.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Like-
saying. It's just
like even the Disney princess movies. Like you're never
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
grow up to be a freaking Disney princess. Like it's just
True.
not gonna happen.
It's not a thing.
It's
also
not
your
realistic.
dog can't talk to you. It's just like there's
That's
so
also
many,
true.
There's so many Disney things.
Yeah.
I
Good
hate
point.
Disney shows.
Dog with
Yeah.
a blog.
Uh,
The dog actually had a blog.
the dog.
Dog had a blog.
Deadass had a blog.
Family Guy, there's a dog. A dog
Family
in
Guy
it.
we watched recently.
Family Guy.
It was a great watch.
Family Guy.
it was-
Yeah, Ryan-
Family Guy's an interesting show. I'll tell you that. It's
South
an interesting show.
Family Guy. I would watch Family Guy and South Park all the time.
I can't stand South Park.
You can't
I-
stand it.
I hate
I
it so
loved
much.
that show so much freshman year.
Nope, I think the voice acting is the most
That's just-
annoying
Oh,
thing
no, no,
ever.
no, no, no.
Nope, I can't stand it.
South Park. Well, South Park. I
Well,
think
also, why are the episodes 36 minutes? That
No,
pisses
No,
me off
so-
when I see it
so-
on the guide,
so-
and it's 36 minutes.
me being
It's ugly to look at.
all I like South Park for is how much they've kind of pushed the limits on what they can say.
Oh yeah.
And-
no, they've done
and
Thanks.
and even if it doesn't seem that important, they're a big proponent of obviously just like freedom of speech and entertainment like that.
Yeah.
And the people that like hate that, and most people like obviously parents, kids don't want them watching South Park because they're just gonna talk about killing a kid's parents and feeding it to the kid. Like that's a legit premise of an episode. But like some of the more important things where it's just
Seems sensible.
yeah, it seems sensible, but it's just like they're allowed to show it, and them being censored is kind of an issue that got brought up, and it kind of made a whole entire movement. And starting in COVID, when COVID happened, when all the cancel culture and stuff like that started to happen, which was kind of just overall a net negative, where some things should be canceled if you're a horrible person. Like
Yeah.
if you're worthy of going to jail and you're a TikTok star, then you shouldn't be supported by people, and people should say that.
Yeah.
But like smaller creators that have done tiny things, or like smaller politicians that have had like tiny things done in the past where it comes to light, and it's just like, well, they did
they'll
that.
pull
in
up
the
a clip
past.
of them like running a red light 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we got him. We got him.
Classic.
I don't know. I just feel like, like just entertainment like that is kind of big, very important for that kind of issue.
Yeah, it definitely dictates the way people think and how the world is progressing nowadays.
Yeah. It's definitely changed so much.
Yeah.
Even like people, like my grandparents and stuff, like they say stuff that was just like normal to say like back then, but now since like all this changes happened and these movements Jackson's like saying, like the stuff they say like is kind of like inappropriate, and they don't know it. Like they just think that's how you're supposed to talk.
Yeah,
But the world's just changed so much.
Yeah, it's
and
very
even, like,
common.
and
Mr. Fleming.
Mr. Fleming.
He's
He's
just
a culprit.
crazy.
Well,
He's a
I
culprit.
think-
talking about him, but
I
like,
think some of the things he said would
He's a
have
little
not
crazy.
been right 30
Yeah.
years
He's just
ago
crazy.
either.
No, he's
Yeah.
just crazy.
He's crazy.
Simple as that.
Hey, but talking about change, just purely the change in prices and change in the economy in the past 2-3 years is insane to me. Right now, I'm literally at Hannaford because that's where I work as a cashier. I'm sometimes afraid to say the prices to certain people that I know will have a bad reaction to it.
That's
Like-
happened,
Like that kind of,
Yeah.
it's kind of just like, this is definitely recent too. It's things have gone up so much in the past, and I'm not complaining about any
gas?
one. It's just such
Inflation,
an
man.
insane thing, and it's kind of our generation that's going to be the people, I guess, I don't want to say fix it. I don't want to be like a Debbie Downer, but something I guess technically has to get fixed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be our generation that has to do it, and we're kind of like, it's so weird to think, who do you think those people that will make the impact are going to be? Because
Yeah.
like you talk to people right now and like, oh, I'm going to be a Cooper, I'm going to be a financial advisor, or I'm going to be a accountant. Like these jobs, they're just kind of like jobs for a normal economic well-being, but when it's kind of going bad, who's going to be the people to fix those
Yeah, 'cause
that
it's-
aren't doing those jobs? And that's a weird thing to think about.
Yeah. A big problem right now too is like with inflation going on, like you know how gas prices have
Oh,
risen so much. They just know they're at this point where they realize they can kind of get away with it, you know, because
Yeah. No one's
eventually
doing anything
gas
about it.
went down, and
it's like that.
the prices didn't really change that much because people knew that like they could still get people to pay $4
You're
a
still gonna
tank.
get gas.
There was like an interview with a guy on the news somewhere recently with a guy saying I can charge $3.65 and still make just the same amount of money I usually do when everyone else was at around like 4 or higher. So that's also a problem with inflation, that like people know that they can kind of get away with it
So they just keep
if
increasing it.
we stay, like if it stays at this rate, maybe not, but for the short term, you know what I'm saying, like they're kind of taking advantage of
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
They're probably gonna combat inflation though pretty soon. I forget how they like do that. There's like a million different
Yeah, no,
steps you
they
gotta,
have
like,
they
take.
have a head of whatever
But then eventually
that
like
is focusing on bringing
it's
it
like
down.
it's like a seesaw, you know, it'll
Yeah.
go back and forth. So it'll start to get better and then it'll get worse
Yeah.
within like the next 10 years. It's always just gonna fluctuate, but it'll probably just see more of a slight like incline like as we go. You know, like it'll have its dips, but that's just how it's worked the past
And-
like 40 years. Like it's just
Yeah.
how it goes.
It just I just think it's weird to think that someone that maybe not that I know but someone my age at one point will have to kind of be in charge and
Oh, really?
make some
Yeah.
sort of
Always thought about
decision like that. I don't know.
That's
It's-
weird. Yeah, like there are people our age like
And the people
in the NHL.
yeah,
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like
That's
That's it,
wild.
like,
there are
We're gonna,
people. It like motivates me kind of because it's like well, there's people
gonna
my
ha-
else doing way better things than me.
We're
Okay?
also
I
gonna
gotta
be
I gotta
happy
catch
to-
up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna have to be the ones to like get like everything also like back on track. Like,
Yeah.
when I look around our world, like even just our school, like it almost worries me the fact that like,
It can be
those-
concerning
we're
for
those
sure.
People that has to like fix stuff that goes wrong and stuff.
I'm sure it was always like
Yeah.
that though. Honestly, I'm sure
Yeah.
it looks not the same, but
Hopefully,
It's a little
similar
weird.
10 years.
I
ago.
know like this isn't like a great representation, but our grade. How many kids are in our grade? Do you know? Like maybe 250.
Yeah, 250 or 230.
It's weird to see that we have this Instagram account of like posting of like where people plan to go after high school. It's weird to see that only 100 people have posts. Now I'm
Yeah.
sure more than 100 people are going to college,
Yeah.
but it's like that other alternative route is becoming a lot more popular, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which
It
is
makes-
kind of weird to see.
Well, I mean, that definitely does speak to the price of college, which is kind of tied in with.
Also part of
yeah, and
inflation
we
and
were
just
also
negative
were peak of the
policy-
pandemic
police,
during
yeah.
high school.
Yeah.
So in one way that like skews our grades a little because you know
Yeah, yeah.
we kind of had it a little bit easier with being on our Chromebooks.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it also would be like, hey, why don't I just like take a gap year, you know, and then maybe go to school the following year, or like,
Yeah.
hey, maybe I don't want to be in debt and be miserable like I was during like the pandemic.
Yeah.
Maybe I just want to get a job and not have to deal with that ever. So it's
Yeah.
just interesting to see that so many people
And-
are choosing alternative routes.
Yeah, and I've talked to people that are like, oh, I'm just gonna go to or the naval shipyard or just go to a trade school, and that's what they want to do. And one person, they told me they don't want to travel ever in their life. They don't care to do anything other than work, get money, retire, and live in a house in the like somewhere in the up
Basically
in a
just
secluded
survive.
area. Exactly, and I obviously
Like they're still
Their-
doing a job and contributing
their
to
values,
society, but
yeah, their values are this like
it's
just
that's
as
why it
equally-
can be that's why it's almost concerning when I look around and see kids like that, because like the less people we have that can contribute to like I don't know important jobs.
Yeah, maybe I'll go off the grid and never
I'll take a gap life.
gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie Pig.
What's up?
So like the guy in Pig who went off.
Oh,
grid.
the guy in
He
Pig.
Oh,
definitely-
was that the
Watch the
shitty-
movie Pig.
the
It's the
shitty-
greatest movie you'll ever watch.
Told to watch this so many times.
I've heard it was very bad. I meant very good, very very good.
You'll learn so much about Pig.
and
Pigs.
Truffle. What are they called?
Speaking
What's
of
up?
entertainment with zero zero deep meaning at all.
There's a difference between senseless, brain dead zombie entertainment and Pig. Pig is not even entertainment. Pig is torture.
Yeah, it is torture. And the thing
Pig is an
the
hour and a
funny-
half of just trying to accept the fact that you purchased this movie for $3.99.
Did you guys buy it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is that, like the critics, whoever the critics are, thought it was a great.
There is a
movie.
deeper meaning to Pig if you dissect it, but it's so boring.
You
It's
wanna
not
explain the
worth
deeper meaning?
finding the. What's up?
Do you want to explain it?
No,
You
it's
don't?
not
Oh,
interesting.
okay.
It's not interesting at all.
Interesting deeper meaning. It just happened.
It has one.
Ah,
Is it like
It
a little kid
exists.
story kind of deep meaning? It's just like, oh, be nice to.
No,
whoever.
it's about his
Uh,
life.
it's
and how
literally
he
like-
messed up, right?
What's up?
Isn't it about his life and like how he messed up when he was a kid or something? Or no?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of like that.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to get into it.
We will not get into it.
Yeah. But you should watch it. Great
Definitely.
movie. 10 out of
Anyways,
10.
so continuing on this movie thing, like us to go around quickly, maybe our last subject before the end of the podcast. But favorite movies. I know it might take a little bit while I think about this one. But anyone have any come straight off? Doesn't have to be the favorite movie, but just like a movie they've watched recently that they really liked. It's okay, we can think for.
I really don't watch a lot of movies. I can tell you what movies I don't like.
Sure.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I'm not a big fan of a lot of the superhero movies. I can tell you
Same.
a few of them that are really good and a few of them that I absolutely hate.
Okay.
I just think they're overrated.
They're horror. Yeah,
So
they're
overrated.
insanely overrated.
Mhm.
I mean,
Like they're never bad.
it's kind of just
But
like
people act like they're the best movies.
Yeah,
to
it's just
ever
like-
The
exist.
Marvel ones. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about?
Marvel, just any superhero movie really. Just the premise of them are kind of, they're not all the same, but they're just like
Yeah, no, it's the same backstory.
same, like, yeah.
I know what you mean. They all come together. Yeah.
And then there's the people that are super fans of them that will not stand to hear me say that ever.
I
'cause-
feel like there's like the one thing about like the people like Marvel, I guess. So if we want to talk about Marvel.
Yeah.
Like the movies now I watch, and I don't really like them, to be honest. I just think they're like kind of cheesy and stuff.
So cheesy.
And, like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But like the thing is, they're very historical because they came from the comic books that were like wicked popular back before there was like technology and all that stuff. So I understand like fans who have been fans for that long and want and like see the movies come into like real life and stuff. But yeah, I feel like maybe it's like it's Disney and stuff doing this stuff, but it's definitely changed and it hasn't really like, at least for me, just watching the movies and not reading the comics. The movies just are like aren't that good. They don't
Yeah.
have a lot of like.
I also think when like you kind of said this, when a big company like Disney buys Marvel, just like how they bought Star Wars, it's gonna change and it's not gonna like sit well with everybody.
Like-
Like I think most people can agree the most
Yeah.
recent 3 Star Wars movies are like
Yeah.
pretty terrible,
Like
or at
my-
least like not good.
Maybe not
When-
terrible,
not
but
terrible,
like
but,
not
like,
up to like the
when
other.
compared to the
When
Yeah.
when compared.
first 6.
And that's also because the first 6 movies are one of the best of all time.
Right.
but
No,
also
definitely, but like
they were also.
I don't know. It feels like they try to do too much. They
Yeah.
try to make it too mainstream.
Definitely.
Like I
And
don't
like
know.
I was talking with someone in my class. You guys know Cam McCarty.
Oh yeah.
But
Oh, I know
there's a new
Cam.
Star Wars-
I know
Big
Camden.
Wildcat next year, just like me.
Lego
I know
Star Wars
Camden.
game that came out, and he's not even playing the last 3 just because he didn't like the movies, which is just funny. because
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
like, I don't disagree at all because those movies were just like they try to do too much. They're just
Yeah.
overconfident
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff.
for sure. And then it's like almost not even enjoyable, and it
Yeah,
kinda
and then
ruins
they
the
tried to
series.
also add a little bit of like whatever the current social issue is. They add a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
of that in there.
Like in
just to
the
sprinkle it on
Black
top.
Panther when she said like, "What are those?" Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
I didn't watch
Are
that.
you serious?
But I
I
heard it's
do-
actually a really good movie.
I
actually
do
heard that
really,
was
I
good.
really
Good
do
movie.
like Black Panther. That's one of my
That-
favorite
that
ones.
stuff, it's, like, really
But
I personally like movies that can have like multiple different interpretations.
yeah,
Like American Psycho is one that I recently watched, and like there are certain events that happen throughout the movie that like it's very subtle, but you're like, what? You know what I mean? And then you start to, like, you could almost piece together like what happens in your mind, but there's there's no clear answer. Like
Yeah.
it's like what you
Yeah, and
think
it
is the
makes you
answer.
think about it. Instead
And
of
the
being-
the way the events are put together, it's like put together so masterfully that it could happen at any point in the movie within like the turning point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like you're not really sure when it happens,
Yeah.
and then the end is just like it's almost like a choose your own adventure,
compared to all the shows we were talking about earlier that are just mindless.
mindless. Like
You just
I
sit
killed
there
someone
and
with
the
my
same thing
feet.
happens with different characters
Yeah,
over and over again.
yeah.
Anyone else have any notes?
Trying
on
to
that?
think of a favorite movie. So hard. I
I-
can't.
okay.
I don't
This is
think I
gonna
have a
be
favorite.
very.
Like just
This is
any.
not a favorite movie. This is a recent movie I watched, and I can't. Not very recent. It was like 2 months ago, but and it's not going to be a very good description of it. But it was on Netflix, and it was kind of just like I thought going into it. Oh, this is going to be another shitty Netflix original or whatever. Like every Netflix original, and the kind of the creative choice the director decided to make was to film the whole entire movie inside the room of a 911 operator, which sounds horrible. It sounds horrible because there's no action, and you kind of just have to imagine what's happening.
Yeah.
And there is like a cuts of what is happening, but it's not any important things. It's just kind of like small little things.
Sad stuff. Yeah.
And I really cannot go in depth on the description of the movie, other than the fact that the build up, you have to imagine it the whole time. You don't get to see it visually.
That's
And
cool.
speaking of like things that kind of work and make your mind think a lot, that was just a very like you never would think. Oh, this is like sitting in a room coming up with a movie idea. Oh yeah, let's make the whole entire movie based in one room with a dude sitting on a chair responding to someone else.
Is it a horror movie?
It's a horror movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's a horror movie, but it also kind of it has the element of a whole story going through, and you can understand what the characters' pasts are, and you can I don't know. It was just such a really creative idea to put in a movie, and
I'll watch that. That sounds good.
yeah, I gotta find the name. I can't remember the name of it. It was some random Netflix original that I was told to watch,
That's cool.
but I
Kind
thought
of reminds me of, like, One Leaves.
Yeah,
One
know.
Leaves.
That's a good
That's
movie.
Wait,
Have you watched that?
I thought that was
It's
a game. Remember we played that game? That game.
What's that called?
One Leaves.
Is it?
At
One
my
Leaves.
house.
What's that?
remember?
What's that?
It was-
Horror film with we watched it at your house.
My house?
Yeah. In your basement with the guy who like got trapped in this house or whatever.
Oh.
Why can't I remember the name
The
right now?
servants with all the black servants.
Yeah.
That is such a. That's probably my.
That's a-
Wait,
Wait.
Or One
wait,
Night.
Jordan Peele one?
the Jordan Peele one.
Oh.
Why can't we think of it?
That's probably
Where?
Leaves.
Oh my god, I have the name.
I thought it was
Get
like
Out.
One
It's
Leaves.
Get Out.
Get Out, yeah.
Get Out.
That no. I'm changing my
Okay,
answer.
One Leaves, Get Out.
That
kinda
is
like-
one of the best movies I watched
I
because
agree.
I watched it twice. The first time you see the movie
You
and
start
you
to realize
understand
more.
it.
About it after
The
for so
second
long.
time-
I love movies like
There's
that,
a scene
yeah.
in it where the person gets pulled over. They get pulled over before they go to the parents' house, and the cop
Yeah.
is like,
Such a good movie.
the cop is like, "Where's your ID?" And she's like, "You don't need his ID." And you're like, "Oh, she's a good girlfriend." When you're first watching it, the second time you watch it, you're like, "Oh, she's trying to literally kidnap him."
Yeah.
So there's no no remembrance that he's there, and like there's small things.
I didn't realize that. I haven't
Yeah,
watched it
it's
twice.
insane. And
I need to watch
one time when he goes to sleep and he wakes up, there's a bear there, and the bear disappears when he wakes up. So
Mhm.
you can tell like because it makes you think that it's one thing,
Yeah,
and you can tell that it's another.
that's crazy.
And it's just like it kind of makes you just get goosebumps thinking back to it because it's just like, oh
Yeah.
shit, that's actually what's happening.
yeah, that's such a.
And
good
you
movie.
wouldn't think a comedy writer would be able to write
And
such
then, like, the-
complex plotline like that.
That's so
Yeah, and then
good.
like the part where he's like sitting in the chair watching the films at the end, where like the guy's talking,
He's like,
is the same guy that like got beat by Jesse Owens in the
Yeah.
Olympics, which was like kind of cool. Like when you piece that together,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh my god, dude.
It's a crazy movie. It makes you think about it for like days. It's not
It all makes so much
I gotta
sense
watch
why
that
it's
again
him.
now.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I
god,
wanna watch
that is definitely one of my favorite movies.
Get Out.
Get Out, yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why I
yeah.
didn't-
Griffin, One Leaves is the one.
I know what that is. I know what that
One
is.
Leaves.
now.
Free
I know
game.
what that is. It's a free game.
One of my favorite movies, I thought maybe it's not my favorite, but I love Interstellar. It's like
Oh yeah.
I think I've actually talked about this before, but it's like the same thing as Get Out, where like you watch it back
It's the,
and you
Yeah.
like
yeah,
I don't want to say anything, but like
yeah.
the
Like when they
books,
change times. And
but like the
time zones.
bookshelves,
Yeah.
how
yeah.
it's moving at the end, how
Yeah.
it moves at this, but yeah,
It just makes you think, and it's
it's so good. I love that movie.
I'm saying
Yeah.
yeah, but I've never seen the
It's so
movie.
good.
It's definitely.
It's actually,
But it
It's
sounds
won a
good.
ton of awards, I think.
Did it? Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really long though. It's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think that's a good ending for the podcast.
I think
That's
so.
a good end. Hey,
Griffin, I
I appreciate
appreciate
you guys having me. I
You're
really
my
do.
favorite editor.
Best editor.
Love you
That's
so
right.
much.
This one will hopefully be up tomorrow.
And then next up we got hopefully Colin Kimball shows up
Colin
and
Kimball.
doesn't
Kimba.
use, it doesn't use Vocaroo. All right, thank you
All
guys
right.
for
Thank you.
watching. See ya.
Peace out. See ya.
See you guys.